Yes, we can start now.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome everyone for today's Recall and Revise Marathon session, CA Intermediate Paper 7 Strategic Management. I'm Deepa Shri, a CA Finance student. I'm very happy to host this session. I'm delighted to welcome CA Sanjay Kadel, sir, for today's session, and I welcome all the participants. Sanjay Kadel, sir, is a fellow chartered accountant, and adding feathers to his cap, he's got Diploma in Information Systems Audit, Diploma in Insurance and Risk Management, and a Certified Systems Auditor. He is a practicing chartered accountant, information technology enthusiast, and a passionate professional educator. Sir, I now request you to take the session further. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deepashri.
Thank you, sir.
So welcome everyone for this SIRC and SICASA session on rapid marathon for the intermediate students who are going to appear in this upcoming examination of November 2022. Am I right? So this we will be taking up as an examination orientation session for the students who are going to appear now. And along with the examination orientation, there will be a quick revision and recall session also. This particular program will be involving that also. So let us start with the examination orientation. Now, as you all know, this is the Chartered Accountancy Intermediate subject paper 7B, okay, which is for 50 marks along with EIS, Enterprise Information Systems. And you have a very good resource available at the institute website itself, at the Board of Studies section, where a lot of study resources are available, including the study material, of course. So the study material, latest study material, hope everyone is having, and you have studied from the latest edition. And second one, there is something called as subject capsule for every subject, and including strategic management also, there is a subject capsule. So I will provide the link, I will provide the hyperlink for this particular resource also in the comment box or in the description box through our SICASA coordinators. You can make use of that subject capsule. And there are some RTPs, revision test papers. Make use of those revision test papers also. Now, these are study resources. When we come to practice, just before the exams, we need good amount of practice sessions with ourselves. So there you can make use of the MCQs and case scenario booklet. Now, this is a very awesome resource which is available, made available by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the benefit of our students. This is a very awesome resource. Why I am saying is, your strategic management paper consists of a case study and the following questions. Following questions for the particular case study or particular the project or particular scenario or situation which they have brought in. Now, this particular resource, which I am calling it as MCQ and case study, case scenario booklet, it will give you a lot of such examples of such case study and the questions followed by that. You can go through it, practice it, and try to answer those questions. Luckily, answers are also available. If you want, I will show you in the particular screen itself. So let me share the screen. So this is our Google, and the link is this particular link. You can go to the Board of Studies section, and there is a MCQs and case scenarios booklet. Let me go to the intermediate one and strategic management related. You can see this. So we will see the section B related MCQ and case scenario booklet. Here it is. January 2022, it has been published. And what it contains is multiple choice questions. You know very well that there is a 15 mark definite questions on multiple choice oriented questions. So you can make use of this 15 marks in a very nice way. These questions are for your practice purposes. You will have a perspective and your orientation towards answering such questions. So the practice will be provided through this particular booklet. There are many number of questions. Don't worry about completing all these questions as a practice, but this will give you a lot of practice and this will give you a lot of orientation as to how this has to be approached. Now, having talked about this MCQs, let me give you some guidelines as to how you can attend this MCQ questions, MCQ type of questions. Whenever such questions come, okay, the first thing is, do not see the answers. Do not see the answers. Just read the question. How will you read the question? By hiding your answers with your hand itself, with your palm. And just read the question and think about the answer which comes to your mind. If you are clear with your answer, now you open the hand and see what are the options given. Whichever matches first is your correct answer. Do not get confused with multiple choices which are equally felt by you as the correct answers. Do not get confused by that. So follow this particular strategy. You will be able to answer very good amount of questions in a right manner. So these are the MCQs. Now, towards the second part of this particular booklet, you have case scenarios. Here it is. See case scenario number 1. Some case study related to some company, some hypothetical company like Connect Private Limited, a Mumbai-based company, is launching a smartphone under the name so and so, so and so, so and so, and followed with some questions. These questions, these case studies is a very fertile ground for you to practice. Please go through this practice booklet and attempt at least 10 case studies at your own end. This will provide very good orientation to you. And how many case studies are there? Many case studies. Almost, I think, more than 40 or 50, almost 35. 35 case studies are there. It is not a small thing. It is a diamond. You can say it is a discovery of a diamond mine. So make use of this case study and answering pattern. It will be very useful. Okay. Then previous year exams. In the same Board of Studies portal, you have the previous year exam questions also, isn't it? So have a look at those previous year exam question papers also. You will have a good idea. Suggested answers are also provided. Make use of that. And then mock test papers. Mock test papers are meant for your practice just before the exams, just as a rehearsal. So take it in an examination condition. Maybe in this week also you can take up the mock test exam. The mock test paper series 1 or series 2 is available on the ICAI website. Please make use of it. Please allot proper 3-hour timing for yourself for this paper 7 EIS and SM, and make use of this particular mock test paper in examination condition at your own end. Also, fortunately, the suggested answers are also given for the mock test papers. Make use of that. Now, coming to the chapters, there are 8 chapters which are part of your syllabus for strategic management. Let me show the screen to you. Here it is. How many chapters? 8 chapters are there, starting with Introduction to Strategic Management. Chapter number 2, Dynamics of Competitive Strategy. Then third is Strategic Management Process. Fourth is Corporate Level Strategy. Fifth is Business Level Strategy. And sixth is Functional Level Strategy. These 3 chapters are in a flow. You have in an organization 3 levels of organizational levels, okay, strategic levels. One is the corporate level, second below that is the business level, and below that you have functional level in a typical large scale organization. So 4, 5, 6 is in a particular flow. Chapter number 7, organization and strategic leadership, and then finally you take care of the implementation and control. So we will learn strategy, implementation and control related concepts, change management related concepts in this last chapter. Now there all the students generally they have one thought process going on in their mind, which chapter is very important and which chapter is less important. Now to answer that particular doubt, the ICAI has officially told that all the chapters in this particular subject carries a 10 to 20% weightage. 10 to 20%. So, and it is equally for all the chapters. So there is nothing called as important chapter, nothing called as not important chapter. But yes, when you go through the study material, you come to know there are couple of chapters which are lengthy and couple of chapters which are short and sweet. So if you are finding lack of time or constraint of time, then you can focus on small chapters first, so that in a short span of time you are getting an equal weightage of preparation completed, and large chapters also you can take it up at a later point. But importance wise, all the chapters are having equal importance. Okay, that is a section wise weightage which has been prescribed already. How the examination will be testing you? For that, there is something called a skill assessment specification. Skill assessment specification says that for a particular subject, what kind of test or what kind of testing will be done for the student. Here, level 1 comprehension and knowledge will be tested. 50 to 70% of your test paper will be consisting of comprehension and knowledge related questions. That means what? You read a definition, you remember certain points, and you answer those questions with such memory and such knowledge of your definition, concept, or certain points or certain pointers. That is comprehension and knowledge. Most theory subjects involve comprehension and knowledge. Next, level 2, analysis and application. Like we said in the initial part of our discussion, case study. So case study is nothing but analysis and application related question. So 30 to 50% of your test paper will consist of analysis and application questions. For example, examine, discuss, or analyze. Such kind of questions are called as analysis and application questions, and those will be 30 to 50% of your test paper. Level 3, evaluation and synthesis. It is not covered in your intermediate level. This level of testing will be there in final level of your course, but not in the intermediate level. So you are lucky enough to have only level 1 and level 2 testing. Make use of this particular knowledge. This is a very good discovery for you, because many of you are not aware of this skill assessment which is expected in the examination. Okay, so make use of this knowledge now. So in strategic management, focus more on memorizing some definitions, some models, some analytical charts. All those things you have to remember, and you have to replicate as it is. Analysis and application, case study related questions, or 1 or 2 certain discuss related questions may come, where you will have to apply your knowledge. But that is only 30 to 50%. Major part of your subject testing is based on comprehension and knowledge. Examination portal, please be in continuous touch with your examination portal, iciexam.ica.org. Also, there is something called as specimen copies of answer books. Please have a look, so that you'll be familiar with how the answer books will be coming in your examination. Examination dates, of course, you will not be forgetting in these days. For group 1, 2nd, 4th, 6th and 9th. And for group 2, 11th, 13th, 15th and 17th. Strategic management comes on 15th, isn't it? The timing is 2 to 5 p.m. So be very active during this particular session. In fact, this is very critical. If you wake up very early, then you might be feeling sleepy at this particular point in time. Don't feel sleepy at this point in time. Make your schedule in such a way that 2 to 5 is your peak hours. 2 to 5 is the most productive peak hours of your day. From today onwards, at least, make it a point. One more good news, there will be an advanced reading time provided to you. 15 minutes before the exam starts, you will be provided the question papers so that you can go through the question paper. Your own strategy can be made, your own thought process can be going on as to what questions or what type of questions you want to attend first. So make use of this 15 minutes in a nice manner. Okay. Now, this is some kind of examination orientation which I made it a point that I will share with you today. Now, coming to the topics, okay, rapid revision and recall session. So from chapter number 1 to chapter number 8, we will quickly go through and discuss certain topics. And during that discussion, I may highlight and emphasize on certain topics, but quickly run through other many topics. So this will become like a rapid marathon for you. So let us start this marathon. So the first chapter, everyone. Let me share the screen with you. The first chapter is Introduction to Strategic Management. Okay. Now this chapter consists of certain topics, business policy as a discipline. You know very well that what is the meaning of discipline? Discipline means a body of knowledge. Here the discipline is not the discipline what we generally use in day-to-day life. Here the discipline means body of knowledge, a subject, a knowledge base, that is called as discipline. Here what discipline we are talking? Business policy. Business policy is a subject matter under which we are studying this strategic management. Meaning and nature of management. Management refers to integrated set of functions and processes designed to initiate and unify group effort in a meaningful manner directed towards pursuing certain goals. Please remember this definition. Not only it is a important definition from perspective of examination, we can say it is a useful definition for your subject. It gives the base for your subject understanding. Management refers to integrated set of functions and processes. An organization has many functions. It carries out many processes. So management means integrating all those functions and processes. For what purpose? For initiating and unifying group effort. If every person is individually doing their activities, there is no unification of those activities towards a particular common goal, then it is like, 4 horses running in different directions. Where will the chariot go? It will not reach anywhere. If the chariot has to reach to a particular goal or a destination, all the 4 horses has to run in a unified manner. So that is called as unification of group effort in a meaningful manner directed towards pursuing certain goals. Then our friend is there, Peter F. Drucker. He's one of the management authors. He has provided certain viewpoints and certain concepts. He says management is a function, is a discipline, a task to be done. And managers practice this discipline, carry out the functions and discharge this task. So as part of strategic management, we have seen the first word, small word called as management. Now what is strategy? Like in chess, we play the game of chess. In the same way, we do a business, but do the business with a strategic and a strategy wherein you will be doing better in that particular business. Okay, a person can do just a business, or he can just do the activities, but there will be a huge difference when he does the same activity with a strategy. For example, we are studying for our exams. Either you can just start with your first chapter and then just go through one by one, or you can go for this study preparation with a strategy. When you go for the study preparation with a strategy, you will be saying, okay, sir, what is the weightage allotted? Sir, which chapters I'm already comfortable with, which chapters I'm not comfortable with. Let me spend little more time on chapters which I'm not comfortable or I have not understood properly, or where I have confusion. So you plan out, okay, first I will do like this, and then this chapter, and this chapter I'll not spend much time because I'm very comfortable with that particular chapter. Then I'll study this particular topic in a more detailed manner because I'm little confused in that. Now, this is something called a strategy. Now you are not doing planning, you are doing strategy, strategic planning. It is a hell lot of difference. Okay. Same thing applies in business scenarios also. You do a business just as it is, or you do a business with a strategy. So when I say strategy, strategy means a game plan. It is not just a plan, it is a game plan. Strategy means a unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. Designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. What are the basic objectives of an enterprise? The basic objectives are survival, stability, growth, efficiency, profitability. These are the basic objectives, isn't it? Now coming to the word strategic management. This is introduction to strategic management, right? So now we are coming to the stage of what is strategic management. So strategic management, the definition goes like this. It refers to the managerial process of what? Number one, first forming a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy, implementing and executing the strategy, and then control. That means over time, whenever there is some corrective action required or something is not going as per the expectation, then you do some control activities, monitoring and control activities. Now, see this definition. It is a process. It is not an activity. It is not a one-time event. No, it is a process of forming a strategic vision. It is in order. Everything is in an order. Forming a strategic vision. Without having a proper vision as to what is a desired future image of an organization, there is no point in doing strategic management. It always starts with forming a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting strategy. Please see the word crafting. We never said make a strategy. We said crafting a strategy. Means it is an innovative process. It is an intellectual process. It is not a normal activity, boss. It is a innovative and creative and intellectual process. Crafting a strategy, implementing and executing the strategy, and then control. Are we clear with this? It is a managerial process of these things. Then this particular chapter also has a section on strategic levels in the organization. Any organization has some kind of structure based on which it runs. Without a structure, the organization may survive for some time, but it cannot prosper. You need a good structure. Of course, for regarding the good structure discussion, we'll have more detailed discussion in the last chapter or fag end of this particular subject. But what are the levels involved in a typical large organization. These are the levels. There is a corporate level, HO or group company or corporate office, there is a corporate level. Then below that you have business level, where the level has where the company has been divided into different businesses. Okay, for example, aircraft business division, or electrical appliances division, or financial services division. Like this, an organization has been splitted into different businesses at this particular level. Next level comes to functional level. Each business is again further subdivided into different functions, different departments. Okay, for example, manufacturing division. Manufacturing division will do only manufacturing activities. Means based on the functions what they do, the departments have been created. That is called as functional level. So corporate level, business level, functional level, and of course there are customers who are being managed by the functional level people. Now every level has its own unique characteristics. For example, corporate level you take. At the top level, the designations which are involved are CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Board of Directors. Those are the designations. But at the functional level, what are the designations involved? General managers, business managers, divisional managers. At functional level, sales managers, HR manager, finance and accounts manager, such kind of designations are involved. At corporate level, the decision making is conceptual, the risk involved is high and wide range, profit potential involved is large, it is huge profit potential. Their decisions are going to affect the entire company, whereas if you come to the next level, business level, the decision making is conceptual also and operational also. When I use the word operational means day to day. The word operational means day-to-day activities. So who will talk about the day-to-day activities? The functional level. The functional level decision making will be on a day-to-day basis, whereas corporate level decision making, the top level decision making will be at a conceptual level, not at an operational level. So like this, every level has its own unique characteristics, and it is in a logical flow. It is in a logical manner it has been characterized. Okay, for example, if profit potential is very huge or very high at the corporate level, it is very low at the functional level. The nature of decisions are ground level and the frequency is periodic, there it will be sporadic. The time horizon for functional level is short range, means for the corporate level it is a long range time horizon. Okay, so these are some points about the different levels in the organization. Now coming to some contemporary strategic issues, or we can say how strategic management as a concept, as a tool is being used by the government organizations and by the non-profit organizations. Generally, when we say strategic management, we talk about business organizations. How does this work out for the government organizations or the educational institutions or the hospitals or such kind of non-profit organizations? We can either say non-profit or we can say not for profit. Both are same. Earlier we used to say non-profit. Nowadays we say not for profit, because any organization to survive it has to make profit. So it is better to say not for profit organizations. So how they are using? There are certain points. Please go through them. Okay. In exam, there may be a question which says that, kindly discuss how strategic management is adopted by the government organizations or by the educational institutions. So there you can make use of some pointers. So this is about the chapter 1, introduction to strategic management. Coming to the next chapter, chapter number 2. What is chapter number 2? Chapter number 2 is dynamics of competitive strategy. Now, here we'll see what is this. First, we talk about the globalization here. Globalization, rapid shrinking of time and distance, global market is there. Why the organizations are going global? Regarding that, the topic is there. You please go through as to why the globalization is picking up pace. Okay, and what are the reasons for going global? Today, any shop, any organization, any startup, or any company for that matter, is no longer local. It is global. People from our own city, they interact with customers who are abroad. Those customers get services from people who are in India, or vice versa. Now, this is happening because of rapid shrinking of time and distance. There is a very fast pace of economic development and economic growth. It is going on because of globalization. Then competitive environment is there. Now let us see some dynamics of competitive strategy and the framework. See, any competitive strategy is made with the help of a particular framework where there are some factors to be taken into consideration. For example, some factors internal to the company and some factors external to the company. Factors internal to the company includes company strength and weaknesses and socio-cultural values. And factors external to the company includes opportunities in the industry and economical and technical threats and also societal expectations. With this, competitive strategy can be evolved. Now let us see strategic analysis. When we say strategic analysis, it is a starting point of the strategic management, we can say, where you try to gather a lot of information, lot of data, and you come out with some analysis, you come out with some interpretations. With those interpretations and your informative analysis, you proceed with crafting strategy, you proceed with other things. But at the same time, we have to be very clear that no, you cannot do a business or you cannot carry out strategic management with your instincts. Of course, those are also very important part, instincts and your judgment based on your experience. But just based on instincts and opinions, you cannot run the business. You should have a solid foundation of strategic analysis. There should be a solid foundation of strategic analysis, which is out of proper information gathering and proper analysis of the external opportunities and threats and also internal strengths and weaknesses. Okay. Now, how this is done? There is a framework for doing strategic analysis. External analysis, internal analysis. As part of external analysis, we take care of customer analysis, competitor analysis, market analysis, and environment analysis. As part of internal analysis, we take care of performance analysis and determinants analysis. When I say determinants, it means specific analysis of the performance, of the trends, of the factors related to the company, strengths and weaknesses. So that is determinants analysis. When you do these two analysis, you arrive at strategy identification selection. So when did we arrive at strategy identification selection? After doing the external and internal analysis. After doing the external and internal analysis, we have arrived at strategy identification selection. Now, what you do in this? You identify different strategic alternatives. Okay, what are the alternative strategies related to product market? What are the alternative strategies related to investment strategies or other functional areas like HR or finance or other things? Now, out of these alternative strategies, you select what is the best strategy. And then you implement with an operating plan. And when you have implemented it and executed it, you review them. This is the entire framework of strategic analysis. As part of strategic analysis, there is a very important topic called as methods of industry and competitive analysis. Methods of industry and competitive analysis. Now, what do we do in this methods of industry and competitive analysis? Any company which is there, it does not exist in a silo in an industry or in a market. There is a whole lot of other companies who are having similar products, similar services, and catering to similar set of customer segments. Yes. So when a company is not operating in a silo, a company is not an isolated entity which is working in the market. No, there is an industry which is entirely dedicated to this kind of particular service which an organization does or product which an organization provides. So it is only fair that we analyze this entire industry and also analyze the competitive scenario in this industry and then make a informed decision or make an informed analysis that whether the industry in which this company is there, is it a good enough industry for giving attractive profits or is it not a good enough industry to give attractive profits? Now, how to arrive at such a particular decision or such a particular assessment? For that, there is something called as methods of industry and competitive analysis. Here, there are certain issues which you should analyze. What are those issues? Number one, dominant economic features of the industry. Number two, nature and strength of competition. How will you analyze nature and strength of competition? With the help of Porter's 5 forces model. That also we will see. Triggers of change. There are certain events, there are certain trends which will indicate that there is going to be a change in the coming days. Now, that kind of triggers of change you have to identify, you have to understand, and then you have to take some informed decision. Now, what kind of things, what kind of models or concepts help you in finding triggers of change? Something like your product life cycle. There is something called as product PLC, product life cycle. There, any product when it is introduced in the market, there is an introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and then decline stage, isn't it? So when you know that there is a product or there is a company which is in a maturity stage, what is the next stage it is going to face? It is going to face the decline stage unless and until something innovative, something path breaking is being done for that particular product or for that particular business. This is called as triggers of change analysis. Then identifying the companies that are in the strongest or weakest positions. This concept is also called as strategic group mapping. You group the companies in the industry into certain groups or certain clusters, and then each of those clusters you analyze their financial position, their competitive strengths, their capabilities, their price range, all those things you analyze. Then likely strategic moves of the rivals. What is the likely strategic moves of the rivals? What the competitors will be doing next that you should estimate or that you should predict or anticipate at least. Now, you may think, how will you anticipate? You will have to anticipate based on your continuous monitoring of the competitive climate. Okay. Then sixth, key factors for competitive success. This is also called as KSF, key success factors. Any industry, let it be professional industry of chartered accountancy, let it be doctors, let it be any manufacturing sector, or let it be some textile sector or software industry or automobile industry, there are certain key success factors which help that industry or that company to survive in that industry. What are those key success factors? Find out and then analyze whether your company also has such key success factors which is required in the industry. Then you have prospects and financial attractiveness of industry. Now, based on the results of above analysis, you come to a conclusion where there is a relative attractiveness of this industry, or there is no attractiveness of this industry on a short term or a long term range. Now, these are 7 issues which you should analyze as part of what? As part of methods of industry and competitive analysis. Is it nice? 7 issues to be analyzed. Now, SWOT analysis, you all know very well. SWOT analysis means strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats analysis. What do? You list down all the strengths and weaknesses and then you do the analysis. I'll go to the next one, TOWS matrix. TOWS matrix is also developed based on the SWOT concept. But since it cannot be named as the same concept, there will be confusion. And because there is a different author for this concept, the name given was reverse of TOWS, reverse of SWOT, which became TOWS. So SWOT became TOWS, TOWS matrix. Who developed this matrix? Haynes-Weyrich. Haynes-Weyrich developed this particular TOWS matrix. What is the specialty of this TOWS matrix? In the SWOT analysis, you only write down 4 boxes where you say strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now here we keep this list outside. So on the left side, if you see, we are writing the strengths. On the left side, we are writing the strengths. On the left bottom, we are writing the weaknesses. On the top, we are writing opportunities and threats. What will happen with this? We will be able to come out with certain strategic options. What options? Combination of strength and opportunities will give you indication that you can adopt max strategy. That means with the help of your strengths and with the help of the opportunities, you have to develop max strategy only for the organization. Something which will maximize the strengths and maximize the opportunities. In the similar concept, in the similar logic, with the combination of strength and threats, you will have to adopt max-min strategy, maximizing strengths and minimizing the weaknesses. Then min-max strategy, minimizing the weaknesses and maximizing the opportunities. Min-max strategy, and then finally min-min strategy. This is a TOWS matrix. SWOT analysis evolved into TOWS matrix. Portfolio analysis. Next, portfolio means what? Group of or a cluster of products or a cluster of services or businesses, that is called as portfolio in our particular context, in our context of strategic management. Now, what to do with this? When a company has different businesses or different products, various products it has, various kinds of services it has, it cannot make a strategy for each of such product. It will become very impractical. So it is better to group them into certain clusters, certain categories, and then analyze those categories. For such purpose, we have certain models. First, we'll see model number 1, BCG growth share matrix. BCG growth share matrix involves two factors based on which this chart will be developed. Those 2 factors are, one is the market growth rate. On one side, you put market growth rate on the y-axis. On the x-axis, we have relative market share. Market growth rate can be low or high, and relative market share of that particular product or business can be low or high. Now you see this, you start with first high market growth rate and low market share. If there is a product, if there is a category of product which has a high market growth rate and low market share, then we call them as question marks. Why do we call them as question marks? Because they are currently in a market which is having high growth rate, and there is a very good possibility that they will in the coming time they will convert into stars. So these question marks demand a huge investment. Question marks demand a huge investment, where we call that strategy of investment as build strategy. So question marks will have build strategy. Then you have stars category. where a product can be enjoying high market growth rate also and high market share also. Those are called as stars. We adopt a strategy called as hold strategy for the stars because it is enjoying a very good position in the market and also it is having a very high market growth rate. Now, there is a possibility that over time, the question marks may turn into stars and stars may turn into cash cows. What is cash cows? These are such products or such businesses in which you don't have to invest more, but due to the high market share which you enjoyed earlier and continuing to enjoy now, you'll be earning your surplus. Without additional investments, you'll be enjoying the surplus. That is called as cash cows. Okay. Finally, coming to dogs. Dogs are having low market growth rate and low market share. So there may be a divest strategy adopted for the dogs. Divest means opposite of invest, or liquidate strategy can also be adopted. So like this, for portfolio analysis, you have certain models. So one model was BCG growth share matrix. Then you have Organises product market growth matrix, where you have either existing market or new market, existing product or new product, and you adopt market penetration, product development, market development, diversification strategy. Then you have model number 3, ADL matrix. ADL means Arthur D. Little. The name of the author is Little, but the matrix he has given is big. So it is always the case, no? The people, they work again opposite to their names sometimes. So here his name is Arthur D. Little, but his matrix is a big matrix. So you can study this ADL matrix. It has on one side firm's competitive position in various variations: dominant position or strong position or favorable or tenable or weak. They have not categorized into just simple two positions saying high, low. No. Dominant, strong, favorable, tenable, weak. And on the top side, stage of industry. Embryonic means just taken birth or introduction. That is called as embryonic. Growth, mature, and then decline. Instead of saying decline, we are saying aging. So like this, you have certain portfolio analysis models. And then coming to competitive advantage. When I say competitive advantage, it means the value offered should be more than the cost of creating the value. That factor is called as competitive advantage. How can you achieve this? You can achieve this by differentiation and cost leadership. Differentiation means creating uniqueness of your product or your service or your business. Differentiation, something like Apple. Cost leadership, where you do the business with reduced pricing for the customers, and how you achieve those reduced pricing because of lowering your per unit cost. So by differentiation or by cost leadership, you can achieve competitive advantage. Then by doing value chain analysis, you can achieve competitive advantage. By having core competencies, you can achieve competitive advantage. And then you can also achieve competitive advantage by managing linkages, primary and secondary linkages of your organization. So this concludes chapter number 2, dynamics of competitive strategy. Then we'll see the chapter number 3. This is strategic management process. Now what we will see in this particular chapter: strategic planning, uncertainty, decision making, intent, various levels of intent we will see, vision, mission, goals and objectives, then model of strategic management. So let us start. Strategic planning. So as you know, the planning means the determining of future course of action to attain the predetermined objectives. Strategic planning is made by the management for the entire organization. In contrast to strategic planning, there is something called as operational planning. What did I say for the word operational? Day-to-day planning. Okay. Strategic planning at a higher level, operational planning at a functional level. What do you mean by strategic uncertainty? And why are we discussing about strategic uncertainty? When you do strategic planning, you are doing it for the future, right? And when you are doing it for the future, is the future certain? The future is not certain. That means what? There is a strategic uncertainty. Now, is every uncertainty called a strategic uncertainty? The answer is no. Only those uncertainties which have strategic importance, which are critical for your organization, are called as strategic uncertainty. You will have to deal with them. How to deal with them? There might be a question. How will you deal with strategic uncertainty? For that, the answer is you will have to first identify all the uncertainties and then see what are the critical uncertainties which are important for your organization. Then those strategic uncertainties, you then group it into some categories, some themes or some clusters or some groups. For each type of strategic uncertainty group or category, you make some alternative strategies, some flexible alternative strategies. And then you select and you do the scenario analysis. And then you select the best strategy. This is how you deal with strategic uncertainty. Then you have something called as strategic decision making. What is strategic decision making? It is decision making which is strategic in nature, which is critical in nature, which has long-term implications, which has a huge risk involved, and there is a huge profit potential involved. It is going to affect the entire organization. That kind of decision making, we call it as strategic decision making. In contrast, what is operational decision making? Again, the word operational means day to day. Okay. Now coming to next topic, strategic intent. When I say intent, it is a short form, or we can say it is a indication of intention. How does an organization display its intention? It displays its intention at various levels. How? It has a vision. It has a mission. It has a business definition. It has a business model, and there is goals and objectives. When I say vision and mission, those are at the corporate level. When I say business definition and business model, those are at the business level. And when I say goals and objectives, those are at the operational level. What is vision? When I say vision, it means desired future image of a company, of an organization. I can use the concept of vision for myself also. Desired future image of myself. What I want to be seen as 15 years down the line, or 20 years down the line, or 10 years down the line. Vision. Then mission. Mission will answer the question that why are you in existence in the market? What is your mission? What do you want to do? What is your purpose? So if there is a purpose defined in an attractive manner, in a passionate manner, then it becomes a mission. Now coming to business definition. Business definition clarifies what business you are going to do. Define your business. You want to do stationery business. You want to do textile business. You want to do software industry, software development related business. That is your business definition. Next comes business model. How you want to do this business? That is answered by the concept of business model. Okay. And then you have goals and objectives, which will talk about what kind of targets you want to set, because a vision or the mission cannot be achieved overnight. Then you will have to break this into certain set of objectives and targets, isn't it? Milestones. So for that, we have goals and objectives. coming to strategic management model. You remember the strategic management definition just few minutes back we discussed. It starts with, it is a managerial process of first what? Setting vision, then mission and objectives. Then you do external analysis and internal analysis for what? For your further strategy crafting purposes. Before that, what you do? You establish your long-term objectives. First, you have defined the vision and mission. Then you have done the analysis. Then you have come to establishing the objectives. Now you generate, analyze and select strategies, or we can say craft the strategies. Craft the strategy, implement the strategy, and then finally do evaluation and control. So this entire flow is called as the strategic management model. Vision, analysis, objectives, strategies, implementation, evaluation and control. Then what are the stages in strategic management? These are the same thing as we already discussed: developing vision, mission, goals and objectives, environmental organization analysis, formulating strategy, implementation of strategy, and then evaluation and control. So this helps us in concluding this particular chapter number 3. What is chapter number 3? Strategic management process. Now what happens is the runway is clear for us now to take off into 3 different levels, starting from corporate level, business level, and then functional level. So what we will do now is we will discuss about the corporate level strategies now. Are we ready for the takeoff? Yes. Let us see the corporate level strategies. Now, when we talk about corporate level strategies, I have this grand strategy chart. Yes, my corporate level strategy revolves around this particular chart. There are 4 grand broad level strategies. One is stability. That means I continue to do what I was doing. Stability. I have some stability in the organization. I want to continue to be stable in the organization. So I'm not doing anything less, anything more, continue to do. Stability strategy. Expansion strategy. You want to grow. You want to be aggressive in your next level of business performance. Expand the business, expand the product line, expand the service line, expand your customer base. Expansion. Retrenchment. Retrenchment means cutting down on your employees, on your products, on your branches, all those things. Retrenchment strategy. And then coming to your combination strategy. When an organization is in the market, in the business, it cannot have one strategy at one point of time. It may be following different strategies for different products, for different situations. So we have a combination criteria also. So stability, expansion, retrenchment, combination. 4 top grand strategies. Coming to expansion, there is a good bifurcation, good deep drill down under expansion. First type of expansion we will see is intensification. What is intensification? Intensification means something is existing, we intensify it. If something is not existing, we don't intensify, we diversify. So there should be either an existing product or there should be an existing market. Okay. If there is no existing product or no existing market, then you are not doing intensification, you are doing diversification. Okay. So what we do is market penetration. When you are introducing a new product, but in the existing market, you do market penetration. Market penetration strategy. Market development. When you have a new product when you have an existing product in a new market, you do the strategy of market development. That is again an intensification strategy with product being existing. Earlier product was new, but market was existing in market penetration. Here, market development, what we are doing, existing product in a new market. Then comes product development. Product development, what happens? Product development, there is a new product in an existing market. There we do product development strategy. So something should be existing. Now come to diversification. What do you mean by diversification? We are going into some new business or new product or new service, that is called as diversifying. Now, what types of diversification are there? When you imagine a vertical chain of a company where there is a raw material supplier, there is a manufacturer, there is a distributor, there is a wholesaler, there is a retailer. In this vertical chain, suppose I am a manufacturer who is manufacturing automobiles. Now, one fine day, I feel that my tire supplier, from whom I buy the tire and then assemble in my vehicle, I come to know that I am confident enough that I can also get into the business of tire manufacturing or tire development. Then I go backward in my vertical chain. That is called as vertical integration, backward integration. Vertical, backward integration. Going top in the vertical chain is called as backward. Going down in the vertical chain is called as forward integration. So suppose I am a manufacturer of vehicles. I open my own showroom where the customers directly come. I am not selling through the distributors, wholesalers and all. Now I am having my own retail showroom. That is called as vertical forward integration, and this is one type of diversification. So in a vertical process chain, either I can go backward top or forward front, forward down. Coming to horizontal integration, when I am getting into some substitute products or products which are related to servicing of my machinery or something like that, I get into the horizontal chain. It is not even a chain, it is a horizontal diversification. Then comes concentric diversification. When I say concentric diversification, it means I am diversifying into a new business. I am starting a new product which is connected with my existing process knowledge or existing technological know-how. That is called as concentric diversification. Next, conglomerate diversification. When I say conglomerate diversification, it means simply getting into an unrelated business, unrelated service. That is called as conglomerate diversification. Suppose I am a chartered accountant. One fine day, you find me as a software developer. Is there any connection? There is no connection. That is called as conglomerate diversification. Similarly, you have under mergers also vertical mergers, horizontal mergers, co-generic mergers and conglomerate mergers. Mergers, acquisition, strategic alliance. Under retrenchment, you have retrenchment strategy, cutting down on employees, everything. Turnaround strategy, where you are doing some cutting strategies for an intention of turning around the company. Divestment is nothing but opposite of investment. And then there is a liquidation, where we purely close down the company and liquidate the entire company. This is called as liquidation. So this is our corporate strategy chapter number 4. I hope this chart is very useful for you. Now coming to business level strategies. Chapter number 5 talks about business level strategy. In this, one of the very good strategies we will discuss, very good model, very popular model called as Porter's 5 forces model. What is Porter's 5 forces model? It is a model for helping you analyze the competitive pressure. It is a model which will help you in analyzing the competitive pressure in the market. How do you analyze? There is no foolproof method of analyzing competition. Generally, you will see people who are talking. competition is very huge, it is not helpful, like that, and so on and so forth. But you don't see people who are able to properly justify their answers. Why? Because they are not having a proper model to adopt and then come out with a conclusion. Here we have Porter's five forces model. Porter's five forces model says, first you identify the specific competitive pressures associated with five important forces. What are those forces? He says, number one source is rival sellers. Rival sellers means what? Competitors. Analyze your competitors and then see what is the competitive pressure from them. New entrants. If there is an industry where there is an easy entry of new people, obviously the competitive pressure we are going to say is strong or fierce, isn't it? Substitute products. Is there a possibility of substitute products in a company for a particular business? If yes, then there is a competitive pressure definitely there from substitute products. And if there are many substitute products, it is going to be a fierce competitive pressure or strong competitive pressure. Or if I can say there is no substitute products for my product, then I can say the competitive pressure from substitute products is weak. Like that, by supplier bargaining power and then buyer bargaining power. These five forces we have to analyze as part of the first step of your Porter's five forces model. And then each of the pressures, each of the factors or forces, you have to say, concluding saying that this particular force is having strong competitive pressure or weak competitive pressure or moderate competitive pressure. In such way, you will have to conclude every force. And then finally, collective strength of all these forces, you will have to conclude. You will have to say, finally, the collective strength of all these forces having been analyzed, whether it is now conducive for earning attractive profits or not. If you conclude saying, yes, there is a possibility of earning attractive profits, then you have concluded saying that the competitive pressure from all these five forces is healthy for your business. Otherwise, it is unhealthy for your business, and maybe you may be planning to withdraw from this particular product or business. You'll have to analyze the competitive pressure in a systematic manner like this. Next, Porter's generic strategies. What do you mean by the word generic? The word generic means general. So what are the generic strategies according to Porter? He says there are three important bases from which the strategies can come. One is one basis cost leadership. That is producing standardized products at a very low per unit cost. If there is a company or a shop which is able to sell to the customers at a lesser price, then that means that company has achieved cost leadership advantage, or it is following cost leadership strategy, because it is able to produce the same standardized products at a lower per unit cost. That is an advantage for that particular company. And what is the strategy they are following? They are following cost leadership strategy. Are we clear? Then there is a alternative strategy called as differentiation strategy. That is producing products and services which are considered unique in the market, maybe at a little higher price, but it is meant for price insensitive customers. Now, let us focus our attention on the word price insensitive customers and the word price sensitive customers. What is the difference? What is the meaning of this? Price sensitive customers means what? If I increase the price, customers will run away. They will not come. If I reduce the price, they will come. That is price sensitive customers. Price insensitive customers means if I increase the price also, they will not go away. If I reduce the price also, not that they will come back. Okay. So price is of lesser importance or lesser relevance for such customers who are going for differentiation related products. So cost leadership, differentiation, and then focus. When we say focus strategy, it is simply meaning that there is a segment of customers whom you are targeting with a particular product range. That is called as focus strategy. There is also called as something called as best cost provider strategy. In this best cost provider strategy, we neither follow cost leadership strategy or neither follow this differentiation strategy. What we follow is best cost provider strategy. That is, we don't treat the customer as price sensitive or insensitive. We treat the customer as a value conscious buyer. Here, in this type of strategy, the buyer is called as value conscious buyer. And the advantage we are offering is more value for money. So please understand, here we are not saying price sensitive or price insensitive. We are saying value conscious buyer and more value for money. That means what? You provide more or better features at an equivalent price, or you provide standardized products and features at a lower price. That is called as best cost provider strategy. Now coming to functional strategies. See, functional strategies, there are certain functions which are taken for the discussion sake in the chapter, something like marketing function, finance function, HR, production, logistics, R&D. So these functions are taken for the purpose of your study. Not that these are the only functions available in an organization. No, there can be many more types of functions and departments. But for the purpose of academic importance, academic relevance, and examination, certain functions have been taken in your chapter. So marketing function is there. Under marketing function, you'll have to concentrate on marketing mix. Importantly, marketing mix means it is a combination. When we say marketing mix, it means that marketing is a result of certain factors in a combination. What are those factors, or what are those variables? Product, price, promotion, place, people, physical environment, and process. So marketing mix is there. And then there are different types of marketing strategies, something like social marketing, or augmented marketing, or direct marketing, or we can say organization marketing, or enlightened marketing, differential marketing, and other concentrated marketing, and other types of marketing are there. And also there is something called as a different concept called as demarketing. Now, all along in the marketing discussion, we always talk about promoting the product, selling the product to many and many people. But when we come to demarketing, there is a slightly deviation in the concept of marketing. We are not trying to promote the product here. In fact, we are doing the opposite. We are making efforts here in demarketing so that our product is not sold. Why so? Maybe because there is a lack of stock situation, lack of supply, or there is a lack of infrastructure to accommodate the new customer or the demand which is there in the market. So what you do, either you overprice your products or services, or you tell no to the customers in an indirect way, in a subtle way. So these kind of activities is nothing but demarketing, a slight deviation from the logic of marketing, isn't it? Then you have finance function, where we talk about procurement of funds, management and usage of funds, preparation and analysis of projected financial statements, budgets, and worth of the business. Production strategies are there, where we talk about production systems strategy, operational planning and control. Two types of strategies are there under production. And then logistics related strategy is there. Logistics also involves strategy related to your supply chain management system. Then you have research and development strategies. Research and development strategy, you can understand in a triangular manner. On one side, you have objectives. Why you want to do R&D? You want to develop new products, concentric diversification. You want to substantially improve existing products, product development. You want to achieve cost leadership. You want to achieve differentiation. These are the objectives. But having objectives, there might be some constraints for you to do R&D. What are those constraints? It can be money related constraints, like budget is not there. When related, people are not there. Motivation is not there. Or time is not there. Or support from top management is not there. So on one side you have objectives, on another side you have constraints. On the other side you have tasks. What is the meaning of task? Task means what you have to do to make your R&D successful. So having your targets clear and your constraints overcome, what are the tasks to be done to make your R&D successful? That will be taken care of by the task. Now, once you have decided to do R&D, there are certain approaches to do R&D. When we say approaches, it can be related to your in-house R&D to be done, or it has to be given as an external contract to an outside person. What is the R&D strategy you will adopt? It depends on market growth, technological changes. Okay, market growth and technological changes. So here we have some 4 combinations. First combination says if the market growth is moderate and if the technological change is slow, you can do in-house R&D. But if the market growth is moderate and technological changes are fast, it is better not to take risk. So contracting would be better. In fact, either you can do contracting also, you can do in-house also, but if you're doing in-house, it should not be aggressive. Then you have third combination where market growth is very fast for that product and technological changes are very slow. But since it is very fast, you want to focus your energy on business. So when that is the case, you can give the R&D work to an outside firm on a contract basis and say, you do the R&D, you give me the result. When you say that, when you go into such kind of contract or arrangement, you can go into an exclusive R&D arrangement or non-exclusive R&D arrangement. Exclusive means you do the R&D, share the result only with me. Or you do the R&D, but you can share it with others, then that is called as non-exclusive. Based on your expansion plans or your company strategy, you can decide what is good for you, either exclusive contract or non-exclusive contract. Then fourth, you see that in the fourth combination, market growth is also fast, technological change is also fast. There is no time to do R&D. So what you do is you better acquire such company which is already having the R&D developed. Okay, acquire already done R&D. That is called as acquisition of well-established firms. So these are some R&D related approaches. Then you have some HR related approaches. HR means human resource. So strategic human resource management, all those things come. And one important topic here in HR management is what are the strategic focus of this HR function? Those are pre-selection related, selection related, and post-selection related. When you say pre-selection, it is related to your HR planning, job analysis, what type of jobs you want to get people for, selection practices, which includes the process of staffing, that is the process of recruiting people. Post-selection is a very, very important part of HR management. Once you have selected the people, once you have onboarded the people, retaining them and retaining talents in the organization is a very critical task. So you may have to adopt certain concepts like job enrichment, making your job interesting or challenging, job satisfaction, job enlargement, increasing the scope of your work, training and development, performance appraisal. But those concepts has to be adopted as part of post-selection practices. So we have seen marketing related, finance related, production, logistics, R&D, HR related. functional areas for which strategy formulation can be done. Now let us go to the chapter number 7. Chapter number 7 talks about organization and strategic leadership. Now, here why we are talking about leadership is because any organization strategy, if it has to be implemented and executed, you need good leadership. You need good leadership. That leadership will help you in the implementation and successful execution of the strategies. And for that purpose, there is something called as organization structure also important. Without organization structure, you cannot implement the strategies. And without proper organization structure, it is very difficult to succeed. Now, when I say organization structure, it doesn't mean that every company should have one corporate level, one business level, one functional level, not necessary. Depends on the size and scale of your organization, nature of your organization, you can adopt certain types of organization structures. What are those? Simple structure, something like this. Owner cum manager is there, employees are there. This is a simple structure. In fact, you will say it is a very simple structure. There are some advantages and disadvantages. So this simple structure, it is very easy to be flexible for any kind of work, any kind of opportunities and all. But at the same time, there are some disadvantage also. What is a disadvantage? There is no division of work. There is no accountability for the employees, because every accountability is coming to the owner cum manager. So there are some issues with this structure. So as the organization grows, it can go into functional structure. Functional structure, the unique point here is division of work based on the specialization, what is expected in each group of people. Like manufacturing division people, they'll be expert in manufacturing activities only. HR department, they'll be experts in HR related works. So like this, functional classification can be done. So this is a functional structure. Then you have divisional structure or multi-divisional structure, which is a typical organization chart which we saw in the initial discussion. Then there is something called as SBU structure, strategic business unit. That means within a company, there is a separate entity kind of division which is running, which makes its own strategies and own vision and mission. That is called as SBU, strategic business unit. That can also be adopted. If it is a mega corporation, mega international organization, it can adopt SBU structure. Now, matrix structure is another type. Matrix structure, generally those companies or organizations will adopt, where there is a concept of assignments or projects. That means one assignment is over, they go to the next assignment, or one project is over, they could go to the next project. For example, builders, okay, they have some construction going on at certain places. One by one they complete. Maybe at a time they are running some 5 projects. They complete those 2-3 projects, the team gets freed up, they get into some other project. Now such kind of organizations can go into matrix structure, where there will be some project manager, and for under the project manager there will be teams allocated from various functions. There will be teams allocated from various functions, and there will be a project manager who will be the additional boss of these teams. Already there was one functional boss. Now there is a project manager boss also. So in this matrix structure, there is one issue that every team member, every employee will have 2 bosses. One is the functional authority and one is the project authority. Okay. So this functional, which is vertical, and project oriented authority, which is horizontal, you have a matrix created. And if you observe closely, the horizontal authority structure is a dotted line. The meaning of this dotted line is this authority of horizontal communication or horizontal reporting authority is a temporary authority. That means this project is over, he may no longer have the authority over those such team members. Some other project manager may take up those people. So this will be in general dotted lines only. Horizontal lines will be dotted because it is temporary. Vertical lines permanent. Now, in mature matrices, in mature matrix organization structure, there may be horizontal lines also permanent. Okay. Then you have network structure, which is nothing but collaborating over the network or internet. And then you have a hourglass structure. Hourglass structure is like this, where the top management is more and lower level functional managers are more, but in between the business level or in between the managers which are there, they are multifunctional experts. So cross-functional issues they can easily handle. So there will be less requirement for middle level managers. And by this particular hourglass structure, cost of management also comes down. Because in the middle layer, there is a constricted level. It is a constricted level. There are less number of managers. So this may reduce the cost also. So by this, you have organization structures of different types. And then coming to leadership styles. Leadership styles can be mainly two types, transformational or transactional. Okay, transformational means you are going to change something, you are going to bring in some changes, in evolvement of certain things, transformational. Transactional on the other hand means something which is related to operational troubleshooting or helping hand on a daily basis for your team members or your employees or your colleagues. That is transactional. You get down to the level of activities and then you do the role of leadership. That is transactional leadership style. Otherwise, you can also follow transformational. Sometimes you may have to follow sometimes transformational style, strategic, sometimes transactional style. Every organization has a corporate culture, and sometimes the corporate culture is not cooperative for the strategies to be implemented. Then what you should do? In such cases, what you should do is you should try to either revamp the strategy to fit it to the culture, or you have to revamp the culture to fit it to the strategy. And in doing this particular activity, you may have to adopt something called as carrot and sticks approach also, where you punish the people or punish the persons who are not following the process or not following the strategy, and you reward those people who are following the strategy and following the process. Carrot and sticks approach. So you can troubleshoot non-supportive strategy culture like this, non-supportive corporate culture. This is about your organization structure and leadership concepts. Now coming to chapter number 8, strategy implementation and control. When I say strategy implementation and control, we are talking about the fag end of this particular entire topic of strategic management, where we are trying to implement, where we are trying to act on our strategies. So when you are trying to act on these strategies, we have to adopt the secret of success formula. What is the secret of success? When you have strategy formulation nicely made, strategy formulation nicely done, sound strategy, and you have excellent implementation of such strategy, then you have secret of success. See this combination: strategy formulation on one side, strategy implementation on another side. If there is a sound strategy and excellent implementation, what do you get? You get success. This is the ideal situation, isn't it? So this is a secret of success matrix. This also depicts the relationship between formulation and implementation. Then we have another concept called as efficiency and effectiveness. What is efficiency and effectiveness? When you say effectiveness, we talk about the result, whether you have achieved the result or achieved the purpose or not. That is effectiveness. But when you talk about efficiency, you talk about achieving the result, but with lesser resources, optimized resources, optimized usage of resources. That is efficiency. Simple example I'll give you. If you see your ceiling now, there is a fan running, suppose. Whether the fan is giving you air. If yes, then it is effective. Okay, that is effectiveness. Now, suppose the fan is running, it is giving you air also, but the electricity which it is consuming is very high. Then we will say it is inefficient. Or if it is making too much of noise and then it is giving air, we will call it as inefficient. So now you can make out the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Same concept applies here also. You can say strategic management is either effective or ineffective. That means strategic management is giving you results or not giving you results. But operational management, that is day-to-day management, you can say for that whether it is efficient or inefficient. Because efficiency comes by practice. And practice is related to operational management concept. Okay. So when you have effective strategic management and efficient operational management, we will say this is also a successful combination. What we'll say, this is a successful combination. Is it clear? Efficiency and effectiveness. Now, next concept relates to forward and backward linkage. What is this forward and backward linkage? Strategy formulation and strategy implementation have an influence relationship. We call this as influence relationship. What it means is strategy formulation influences the implementation activities. That is called as forward linkage. And based on how you implemented the strategy, based on the feedback you got from the implementation of strategy, your further strategy formulation gets affected. Based on your experience, you change your strategies or you make some changes in your strategy formulation. That is called as backward linkage. So this influence relationship, whether strategy formulation influences implementation or implementation influences formulation, this is also an important relationship between formulation and implementation. Is it clear, my dear friends? Then let us talk about strategic change. So when we are talking about strategic change, there are some changes which will continue to occur in the environmental forces, in the micro environment or in the macro environment, like, in the market or in the governmental regulations or in the technological environment or in the economy. Something will change. Now that will lead to your changes in strategy, which will lead to some new strategy or changes in existing strategy. When this change is happening, how to manage this change? So for that, we have some simple models like Kurt-Lewin model. Kurt-Lewin model says, first you unfreeze the situation, then you change to the new situation, and then you refreeze, that is normalize. So first you unfreeze the situation, go to the new situation, change it, and then you make it normal, make it on a regular, use it on a regular basis so that it becomes normal. So this is a strategic change model. Then you have strategic control concept. What is the meaning of strategic control? This you have to understand in contrast with management control and operational control. So when we say strategic control, we are checking on two things. One, whether the process which has been followed is as planned. And next, whether the result which you achieved is as expected. So two things you have to check. When you're checking on control, two things you have to check. What are the two things? Process, result. whether the process followed is as planned and whether the result achieved is as expected. When you check on these two things, it is called as control. And you know very well, since we are all chartered accountants, audit is very important for us. So having understood the concepts of strategic management, there is also an opportunity for us to do strategy audit. So what is the meaning of audit? Audit of management performance with respect to your strategies. So you can do the strategy audit. You can check on the underlying basis of firm strategy. That means on what premises, on what analysis and assumptions did the strategy evolve, that you can verify, that you can examine and audit. Then you can also compare the expected results with the actual results. And then you can give a report to the management saying your observations. So these things will be involved under your strategy audit. Now, friends, we are coming to the fag end of this chapter. Subject BPR, Business Process Reengineering. As you all know very well, mostly in the concepts of ERPs and all, we talk about BPR. Why? Because when you implement the ERPs, a very sophisticated enterprise level application, okay, for your processes and for your activities, what needs to be changed is the processes which the organization follows. With old set of processes, with new sophisticated softwares, you cannot run the organization. When there is a change, when there is a drastic transformation of your application usage, modern application usage, your processes also have to evolve. So for that purpose, generally the organizations adopt a project called as BPR project, Business Process Reengineering project. Now what is this? It is a approach of unusual improvement. Please note the word unusual, not normal improvement, unusual improvement in operating effectiveness. How? Through redesigning of critical business processes and supporting business systems. How do we do that? We first determine the objectives and framework. Why you want to do this BPR? Let us come to that. Then you identify the customers for whom you are doing this BPR and what are their expectations which you have to meet. That you have to identify. So first step, determining objectives and framework. Second step, identifying customers and their needs. Third step, study the existing process. What the company is following, existing process, that you study first. You document them. What is their current process flow? Whether they are good enough, what changes can be done. That analysis will come only when you study the existing process. And now you redesign a new plan. What is a redesigned plan you can suggest, that you formulate, and then you finally implement it. So by these steps, you can adopt BPR in an organization. Then you come to benchmarking. Benchmarking means what? Benchmarking means, in simple terms, if I say comparison. If I want to compare with a successful person, myself, what I'm doing is benchmarking. Why do I do benchmarking? Because we want to achieve the results of successful organizations or successful people. How can we do that? Of course, we will have our own processes, own strategies, everything is right. But this is also a good idea that I can compare to a successful person or an organization and see where all I can correlate and match and examine my processes versus the successful enterprises processes or standardized processes. When I do this, I come to know what are my deficiencies, what changes I can do to my existing processes, and then achieve the best results, or at least achieve better results than what I'm achieving now. This is a very good concept of benchmarking. In this, again, like BPR, here also you start with the need. What is the requirement for doing benchmarking? Why you wanted to do this? So you identify that need first, then understand the existing decision process. There also in BPR also we studied existing process. Here also we study the existing process. Third, identify best processes with whom we want to compare. Do the comparison of what? Of process also, of expected performance also. When you do this comparison, you will come out with lot of observations where you fall short of the standardized processes and standardized expectation of results. Now you prepare a report and then let the management implement those steps which are necessary to close this performance gap. And when you prepare a report and implement this benchmarking, you don't leave it as it is. You also do evaluation on a regular basis, whether you are getting the results or not, or just for the sake of the project, you have done benchmarking and completed it. So in this way, we can complete the benchmarking activity or benchmarking project also. So with this, we conclude the 8th chapter also, my dear friends. So as the name says, marathon, it has been a literal marathon for me today, because too many things to be covered in a single capsule of 2 hours. It was very challenging. It was very refreshing and very good for me. So thank you, my friends, for your patient listening and following and being with me till now. And I hope this was very useful for you on a 2-hour capsule. Okay. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, and this will be really helpful for the students. We will be posting this recorded session on YouTube 50 hours, so the students will get utmost benefit out of it. Yes, sir. Thanks for your all the exam tips and covering the important part of the chapters. It will be really helpful for the students during this exam days.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, and all the best wishes to all the people who are attending this exam, upcoming exam. My personal best wishes, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day. Bye, sir.
See you.
The recording.